I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe.
Hello, friends. We're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kandron,
Hey, it's Deja.
and we're here to continue our conversation about burnout. If you've never been here before, welcome. We do a pop culture and real life mashup over here on Black and Curious. So, like I said before, we're continuing our conversation about burnout.
Yes.
Today, we're talking about how to manage it, which, yikes.
I think I'm in the stages of trying to manage the aftermath of burnout.
Mm,
I have not in the stage of trying to figure out, like burnout as it relates to going back into your work environments,
mm,
and working through just kind of navigating that arena. I'm not there yet.
yeah. Okay, so one thing that helped me um in managing my burnout is I started reading this book called Thinking in Bets, and it wasn't, you know what? It was a perspective shift for me. So, it was basically the idea of the book is that people always talk about life is like chess, and life is not like chess. It's like poker. So it's more of gambling than it is because chess, there is a prescribed way that things work. The
Mm-hmm.
board, there's certain moves that lead to a certain move. Like that is how, like all the pieces are on the board, everything is there for you to see. Whereas it's more, life is not like that because you have to make decisions and you don't know all the information. You never know all the information. So
Hopefully,
it's more
ready.
like poker where you have the hand that you're dealt and it's more like I guess play the hand you're dealt. But if you think about it like poker, it's like, oh, that's different from like play the hand you're dealt in spades because you still know like everything. You know that the books for the most part.
Child, she's Charlie Brown's teacher right now because I
As a
don't know nothing
spades
about
player,
either.
girl,
She don't know.
there
That's
are hands, okay, and all of the cards are on the table. That's the point. Like everything is the all 52 cards are on the table in spades match or game, whatever.
mm-hmm.
48. Y'all know what I mean. So all the cards are there and it's going to play out how it plays out. You might not know everything, but you know most of the stuff. Whereas poker is like you have what's in your hand and they're kind of like flipping the cards, but it's like 10 cards really out of 52. So it's like you have no idea how this is going to play out. So it like honestly starting the book like really gave me peace of like it helped me to stop beating myself up like I had made all these poor decisions because like the truth of the matter is you can make poor decisions and still win, which I have situations where that has happened to me. You can make good decisions and still lose, which that's also happened to me. But like none of that is really has any value about you as a person. It's just you did the best with what you had.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it like changed my perspective about that. And we were talking just last in the last conversation about having option A through Z or whatever, A through G, and then none of them worked out for me. And it made me think like, okay, those didn't work out, but that's not because you necessarily did something wrong. You did all the right things. It's just you couldn't have predicted a pandemic. You couldn't have predicted what happened to the housing market because the pandemic in most people's minds like, oh, this is time of uncertainty, like we're not going to spend a bunch of money. But like a lot of people were just like, no, we need to be in more comfortable accommodations, so we're going to spend a ton of money to get a
Mhm.
house in a place that we've never lived in. Like that is not something you could predict.
No, not
It's
at
not.
all. I think honestly that what you said was really powerful for me because one of my fallbacks, like what I go to, is when my A through G plans don't work out, and they all like fail or fall apart. I always think, okay, automatically I'm the common denominator, so something that I did was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I never get past the point of like, not necessarily what you did was wrong, but like that's just what life is doing right now. Life is lifing and you're living in it. Like that, none of this is necessary. There's no fault to be owed. Um, and I think that's what I have struggled with a lot throughout my life, not just like, in adulting. Um, and I'll say that like having these conversations with you, like us recording conversations for the masses whenever y'all find us. um, but like having these conversations helped me both offline and online, helped me to kind of reframe my thinking, because like Kandron knows I am extremely black and white. There is no room for gray, which is why I think I have suffered, for lack of better words, in the last couple of months, because I've had such a hard time navigating life being very black and white.
And I'm very gray, but even being gray in the last 2 years has been difficult. Like,
Yeah.
even being a person who is fine to live in gray, it has been like, oh God, like nothing's working out. Like, this is a lot. It was a lot. In a lot of different ways. So I think another way that I've managed burnout, and again, we've talked about a little bit, is just taking a break. Now, I'm not an HR specialist, and I'm not going to tell you what happened with me. What I will say is this: Akita Mann is on YouTube. I will link her information below. And she talks about a lot of ways you can start to transition from your 9 to 5. And she speaks specifically about contacting HR and to see what kind of benefits that you have with your job that may be able to enable you to take a break, an extended break, without having to make a hard decision right now. And she's an HR specialist. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but she's an HR specialist. So she knows like what kind of plans or whatever that you might be able to sign up to be able to take a break. And especially if you have, a relationship with a therapist, somebody that can like very much vouch for you and how things have changed for you.
Yeah.
It does make life a lot easier. I mean, you don't have to have that, but it makes life a lot easier. And then obviously it's somebody to vouch for you, to be like, hey, this is
what's
happening.
going on.
This is what's going on. This is
Yeah.
how things have changed.
Yeah.
So that could be another option that I don't know that a lot of people, or lever that a lot of people know that they can pull, of like just contacting your job to see like, hey, is there an opportunity here to do this paid, unpaid, whatever.
Yeah. I don't think, to your point, like I know years ago when I had taken a leave of absence, you told me like, you know what, you should look into like what options that you have. And this was, God, I feel like it was almost 10 years ago, but maybe not. But so in doing that, I was able to do leave, and it was unpaid at the time, which was fine. But I just needed to have that break. And like having like your physicians and therapists, those there to kind of like document what is going on, sets you up for success, in the sense of like you have a track record of like the trauma, if it's trauma, or like the events that have happened to you that are leading you to this point. But yeah, definitely, Kandron, please put the YouTube,
I'll leave it down below
in the description box, because I want to not reach out, but like watch her information, because that's definitely good information to have.
So I think for me, like a lot of it was, just taking the hard break and taking a lot of time to just figure out what I like, and only doing what I liked. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything I didn't want to do, for the most part, while I was off. I made a point to do all of the things that I enjoyed doing, even in small measure. So, yeah, I just enjoyed myself. And I tell people, for the first time I felt like time was slowing down, because I'm always like this. And I always have so many things I'm working on, and the weeks go by fast when you're working a 9 to 5. But for the first time in my life, I felt like time just kind of slowed down and like was at my disposal versus me having to speed through life. And it was wonderful.
Yeah.
So now it's a matter of trying to like inject that energy and in those feelings into my day-to-day life now that I have returned to my current reality.
Right. I
Yeah.
think I still need more time because I haven't quite got to the place where I'm trying to do the things that I like.
Yeah.
Us having these little conversations here and there, like we said before, we kind of batch record, so we're not doing this a lot. But this helps me to kind of like, it's like training wheels, I guess,
Yeah.
to get myself back on the bandwagon. I'm very much still um Lord, here we go. I'm very much still in a place where having conversations like this, I am near tears, or like um I feel like the emotions welling up. And I think the thing that I hate about this process of like taking a break is that like for me it takes me so long to get like unraveled. And so
Mm.
like I spend like that first 30 days or more still wound so tightly that I'm not able to like regulate my own emotions. Like I'm
Mm.
up and down and up and down and up and down, which is what it's been like offline. Like Kandron can bear witness to that, or has bear witness to that. And so like I feel at this on this day, because I'm really taking everything day by day, that this was probably the best thing that I've done for myself.
Mm.
Um, so that I could have time to like switch my thinking. Cause like you said, like, you know, when you're working a 9 to 5, the days go by so fast. And like it's work, it's home, it's sleep, it's work, it's home, it's sleep. And like that's how
Mhm.
it's been for 2 years. Um, and
Yeah, and
so
on steroids, honestly, because there was no break between work and home and sleep for while we were in the height of COVID and everything. It was kind of like heightened work home sleep, you know. It was no
yeah,
break, and for those of us that were working at home, there was like literally nothing else
yeah,
but the house. That was literally it, you
yeah,
know. And again, I understand that I'm fortunate that I was able to work my job from home, but it was difficult. And because of the industry I work in, it was actually more work than I even had before. So it's like, this is a lot, and it's a lot all the time. Um, and so, yeah, I think for me, taking the time, and I think this is something I'm doing better now, to rest. I took the first like week or so that I was off, week or two really, that I was off, and I just rested. I didn't even do anything and anything at all. I did come home for that weekend. Um, and then even then I stayed in a hotel down the street from you. Like I took extra days in the city to
yeah,
rest and see my friends and like
yeah,
chill, relax, whatever. But yeah, just rested. And I find that I'm doing that better and listening to my body a lot better. So like this morning, for instance, I woke up yesterday. I was sort of crashing a little bit, and I felt that like normally I can watch a show as long as something's going on. I can stay awake till 1 or 2 with no problems. But it was like 11 o'clock, and I'm just like crashing out on a show that I was like actually really excited to watch. And it was like, what is going on? And like I woke up this morning and I was still kind of like just like not feeling like myself. And I was like, okay, what haven't I had this week? Oh, I haven't had very many green smoothies, probably my iron. So like I got up and made a green smoothie. Like I'm better at listening to those cues for my body now, in a way that I hadn't been before when I was just like going, 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 going.
yeah. I totally agree. I lost my train of thought, what I was saying.
Yeah. Well, I
Uh,
wanted you to stop crying.
I
You
know.
can't cry on here.
I know. I'm okay. Like
Okay.
I'm not going to cry now. Like, but I
No,
know
but I've been there
I
where I
feel
know like
it.
how it feels to every time you open your mouth, you're freaking crying. It's like it's uncomfortable and it's unpleasant. And we
Yeah,
talked about
I
that in
feel
the last
crazy.
conversation. You feel crazy. Like the last conversation, if you haven't watched that already, we talked about that in the last conversation of like me just feeling like every time I open my mouth to talk about anything of substance, I'm in tears. Like that is not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I wasn't saying that to be like flippant. I was just trying to
No,
like
no, I'm not like, no. I know you, like, we've been friends a long ass time, y'all. So like
yeah,
I know what my friend is trying to cover me because
yeah,
but it's just like even sitting here and having this conversation, like y'all can't see it, but I'm like, I'm doing this, like
yeah,
constantly
for
wringing my
you.
hands. I'm like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be in this state. I hope
Yeah.
that like I pray that it does not last too much longer. Because I would like to get back to my life. um, but I am grateful to have this time,
Yeah.
period. And I
And
think
we talked
that
about this last time too of like you can possibly do some things that you enjoy as well. Like to take this time to do things you enjoy. And I know it's like coming
I enjoy
down, like
it.
you're trying to get off of your emotions, but like doing things you enjoy. So I thrifted a lot. I thrifted more than I should have. So now I have a ton of stuff to sell. But like that is something that brings me great joy and great peace because it's something that I can do and I don't have to think about anything. I just go in there, I'm like on a treasure hunt and it's like, ooh, I found something. Ooh, I didn't, whatever. It's fine, but it's like, it's something that I can just zone out and do. And so that's why I was encouraging you. And we talked about this before, encouraging you to like paint or do something that helps you to like zone out so that you can actually feel the peace and like actually feel the relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Like, I was with my niece and nephew. I mentioned that in the last conversation.
Yeah.
Um, and so like today is a good day, even though like I'm a little emotional, but that's still my emotions are still raw and they've been like that
Oh,
the whole time. So I all that to say that I'm definitely an example of, and will help both of us are an example of, other women out there who are like us, or people in general, don't have to be, like gender specific. When you experience burnout, what the side effects look like and the after
yeah.
effects of it. Like I'm in the stage of the after effects, having had having had all the stuff that happened in the last 2 years that happened to all of us, but then having had my own like extreme medical emergencies and then family medical emergencies and then
Mhm.
all that other shit. I think that might also be why it's taken me so long to unravel,
Mhm.
because of it has been a roller coaster that's
Yeah.
like halfway on the rails at some points. Like that's how I describe the
Yeah.
last
And
two.
like I've been saying this for a while and I stand by it. I'm going to keep saying it. It's like the jobs, the world, everybody's just wanting to get back to normal, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't it's
It ain't
people
that
aren't
easy.
okay. People aren't okay. People have lived through a lot and they've many people have lost someone close to them, many people close to
Yeah.
them. There are people who have lost multiple members of their family, and
Right.
everybody's like, oh, the office is open, just come back to work. It's
Like,
just
girl,
like,
what the hell you mean? People can't do
girl, what?
that.
Girl,
Like,
what?
people cannot do that. Like, at the end of June, my family lost a father and a daughter, and the daughter was 15.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't imagine that my cousin, her mother is able to just pick up and go.
Right.
And I don't
Exactly.
think that like our American society is so fucked up that we are constant go, 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 go. There's no time to rest and mourn or, just rest regardless of, just in general, not having rest for the fact that tragedy has happened to you.
Hmm.
Like, ugh.
Yeah. So that's why I said, like, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just encouraging you to check out your benefits.
Uh-huh.
If you are exhausted, if you are burned out, if you need a break, I'm encouraging you to just check out your benefits. If you don't have that in your benefits, if you have vacation days, we've talked about this before, like use all of your day. Do not let anything go back to the bank. Okay. If you have sick days, you need to use your sick days. mental health is a valid reason to use a sick day, in my opinion. In most jobs, especially if you only take 1 or 2 days here or there, they're not going to fight you about it. You know, if it gets up to a little point, they might want to note. But like for
But
the most
even
part,
still, if you're getting up to a point where you excessively use that sick time, it's time to do a self check-in, where because sometimes people use sick time because this is not
yeah, of course.
together.
And you
And
should.
so like if you're doing it because you're having a day here, that's an indicator that you need to take rest and
Yeah.
to seek the options that Kandron is talking about, where you can,
Mhm.
do leave or whatever benefits that your company may offer you, like if that's possible for
Yeah.
you.
But yeah, use your sick days, use your vacation days. If your job has days off for voting, send your ballot, go vote early and still take your day. Like,
Okay.
you know, like use all your benefits, use all of your things, okay? So that is my rallying cry, because I just feel collectively as a society people are not okay. I feel especially in Black community where we always bear the brunt of all of this foolishness, the people are not okay.
Yeah,
Okay? So I just want us to all be okay. And whatever that means for you, I think you should do it.
absolutely. So I think we should end this here.
Yeah. I think we said
Um,
enough.
Thank you guys for watching. Of course, please drop down in the comments and let us know what your experiences are. If there's anything that we might be able to help you figuring out the resources. Of course, Kandron's going to drop down the YouTube that she mentioned. And of course, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all of our social media, and we'll see you next time.
Yes. Bye.
Guys.
Breathe.